Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time you're watching this. Just kidding. It better not be evening. I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for tuning in. Everybody makes a difference every day, and you are one of those everybody's. So let's get started. Everyone makes a difference every day, and we need to show appreciation at work, but how do we do that? Well, we're going to get a little scientific here, so hang with us. Someone once said, something deep within the human psyche cries for appreciation. When that need is unmet, then job satisfaction will be diminished. Anybody ever feel like that? Man, nobody sees me. Nobody sees how hard I'm working or what I'm doing. So this is coming from a book. When I first got married, I was asked to read a book by Gary Chapman called The 5 Love Languages. Now hold on, we're not talking about love, this is work. But we can translate a lot of that stuff into appreciation languages at work. So we're going to talk about 4 of them. The 5th being physical touch, but that's going to be high fives, pat on the back, things like that. But it's so rarely seen in the workplace that we're going to kind of graze over that one and focus on the 4 most common. Now, effective appreciation is not just for supervisors, managers, but it can be for any level of the organization. And I would even venture to say those people who are my peers, actually them appreciating me and showing that appreciation often mean more, because those are the people I see in the trenches with me every day. Now, the reality is what makes one person feel appreciation doesn't necessarily do it for another. We all come from different backgrounds, different cultures. We have different life experiences. And that has an impact on how we best feel appreciated at work. And I would also say at home. That is, to quote a friend, the soil that our culture grows in, or that we grow up in. That's who makes us who we are. So wanted to reference DEI. Anytime you hear somebody talking about DEI, they're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And that's just, how do we make people feel like they belong? And we really want our teams to feel like they belong, like they're appreciated and known. Now, let's kind of dive into the languages of appreciation. Each of us feel appreciated in different ways. That's the languages of appreciation. Effective appreciation and recognition have to be tailored and delivered personally, and they must be relevant and valuable to us as an individual. We'll go a little bit deeper in those. So we've all heard of the golden rule, treat others as we want to be treated. But I want to take it one step further. Let's talk about the platinum rule. We want to appreciate people in the way they want to be appreciated, not in the way that you might want or in the way that is most comfortable to you. And a lot of times we'll default to the ways that we find most comfortable. Often I find myself guilty of this, where when I show appreciation, I'm always self-conscious. Are they going to think this is dumb? Well, maybe not. Maybe if it's meaningful to them, then they won't think it's dumb. Or maybe we can just laugh about it if it really is dumb. Now, I tell my crew thank you. Is that enough? I've worked for supervisors that say thank you every day, but that's not my appreciation language. So it didn't really sink in. Nice, great, thanks. But it wasn't really speaking to me. So the other thing it's important to know, there's 2 different things. There's recognition, which is largely about behavior. It focuses more on performance. So Kelly Brook Elementary School, good job on your perfect health inspection. Appreciation focuses on an employee's value as a person, who they are. It's not linked to performance. Good example of that, don't want to embarrass anyone, but I always think of a certain manager. I'm not going to say her name because I know she gets self-conscious. I really admire the way that she takes care of her family, the way she steps up and takes care of everything for a certain family member. And I often think, I wish she was my sister because she's awesome. So, what's your language of appreciation? Pop quiz, guys. So dig in your folders. You're going to find a paper like this. It's old school, I know. We're going to have to dig out our pencils and our pens. We're going to take a quick pause. And I want you to go through each one individually. No cheating. Fill out this by yourself. You're just going to select the one that most closely resembles you. Then at the very end, it's going to ask you to tabulate it. So by yourself, everyone take a moment, fill out your quiz, and then set it upside down to the side. We'll come back to that. But after you tabulate it, you should know your score. What is your primary and secondary appreciation language? Now, some of you will actually have a tie, and I'm not talking like really close, but some of us actually have a complete tie of a secondary or a primary language. And so if that's the case, you're going to indicate both of them. You're bilingual. So let's talk about the appreciation languages. Just real briefly, words of affirmation, kind of self-explanatory. I'm going to affirm someone, good job. Tangible gifts. Some people want to be acknowledged through giving things. And often it's not about the gift itself. It's that they knew I drink Diet Coke with a wedge of lime. Not hinting, just telling you. So it's not about the gift, it's about knowing what gift to give. Acts of service. So that is, at the end of the day, I'm going to say, hey, I got 5 minutes. How can I help you? Whatever you want, however you need it, I will help you. Quality time. It's putting away your cell phone when somebody comes in and just saying, I'm here, I'll listen. Or let's talk, let's have coffee. Quick reference, words of affirmation, you can leave a note or tell something specific, a trait that you value in them. I gave an example earlier about a certain manager. Quality time, give them focused attention, a period of time to just check in, hang out. Acts of service, I have 10 minutes or more, how can I help? Tangible gifts, buy them their favorite drink or snack or something that they would like. It doesn't have to be big, and remember, it's not about the gift itself, it's about the thought that went into the gift. Words of affirmation. We're just going to go through each of these languages just a little bit just to kind of give you some talking points. I have some posters that I will be hanging up in your school throughout the week or before you start back. 3 different ways to use words of affirmation. You can affirm the character of a person. I admire your integrity. So that's one example. Praises for accomplishments. Great job passing your ServSafe exam. Affirm personality. I really appreciate your cheerful attitude that uplifts the team every day. And an important thing to remember about affirmation as opposed to recognition, there is always, always something you can affirm about everyone without example. So my little 3-year-old, he's cute as a button, but he is a trying little boy sometimes. He is definitely 3. And some days when he has just had a nice little 3-year-old tantrum, I have to get him wound back in. The best way to do that is think of a way to compliment him. Say, hey, I liked how you put on your shoes all by yourself. And there's just something about that that makes him swell with pride. We as adults are not much different. There is always something we can affirm about people. Quality time. 3 different ways to give quality time. quality conversation, small group dialogue. It's about empathetic dialogue, being uninterrupted, create a safe environment. That safe environment is where it's okay to admit I've messed up. And we mess up at work all the time. That's how we learn, that's how we grow. And the best thing to do is having those people that you can say, I messed up. I was working on pulling orders today, because I've been doing that since Debbie left, and now training Rachel, and she's doing awesome, and I'm glad to give it to her. But you know what? When I was learning, I messed up a few times, and I had to go in and say, oh, I messed up. And sometimes just that venting, that quality time is a great stress reliever. If you haven't figured out, my primary is quality time. Shared experience. Invite a team member to participate in an activity. This could be a fun activity, like going to lunch. It could also be a work activity. Hey, you want to come and help me make breakfast bags? We can talk while we make them. Yes, it's work. Yes, it's productive, but I would enjoy that time. Working in close physical proximity to accomplish a project. Again, it's work, but it's still being asked. It's a compliment to be asked, and to have that little time of just being able to conversate. Acts of service. This is where you show affirmation by being available and giving of your own time, or work time anyway, to be able to help. Now, and a good example is, you know, a lot of times when you have kids, you have a crazy busy schedule outside of work. So what if I needed to leave precisely at my getting off time, if not 2 minutes before, and I was running late because it had been a day? If one of my peers came over and said, hey, I've finished all my work and I'm just gonna jump over, I've got 5 minutes, how can I help? And I just jumped in and helped. That would be one way of showing acts of service. Now the key is to do it their way and help without being asked. So just being able to just glide over and say, I'm here. And also completing your own responsibilities first, because it's not very helpful and it doesn't feel very great when someone skimps on their job, which I'm gonna have to go over and help do, but they help me do mine. So always do your area first and then roll over to help. Tangible gifts. This is where you show affirmation by giving things. But again, it's often more about the thought process and knowing the person other than just giving something. Little things really matter. Example, showing me some cool insects that you find. Yeah, I really do like bugs. Tangible gifts is not my primary or my secondary language, but you show me a cool locust or a cool grasshopper or even a cool spider, I'm going to think it's pretty cool. Not lying. Give gifts that show the giver has spent time and energy thinking about it. So again, it could be something small. So an example today at our managers meeting, Anita made this really cool, like a peanut butter Reese's dip with crackers. Or not crackers, like little cookie things. And she spent her time and energy making that. And she was affirming the group through tangible gifts. Great job, Anita. Small things that show you really know the person. I think she knows our group because she knows we like chocolate. Now, building positive working relationships with coworkers is vital to being able to effectively show appreciation in the workplace. If I don't take the time to get to know anybody, how will I, A, know what their primary appreciation or secondary appreciation language is? I'm just going to appreciate them in whatever my primary is, or not at all. And B, if I don't get to know them, I'm not going to be very precise in how I give gifts. I might bring something like cherry pie that Misty hates. Yes, I really do hate cherry pie. Or I might affirm them publicly and say the right words, but in the wrong context because that would embarrass them. So knowing your team and knowing your coworkers is vital. So take the time, get to know each other from a working relationship stance so that we can be more productive in how we affirm each other. All right, so I know you're all watching in a group. We got a little group exercise and you can pause this. I want you to discuss a time you felt appreciated at work. Be specific. What was it for? Who was involved? The location? And how was the appreciation delivered and shared or shown? What appreciation language was this? Now, I just teed up a really good example of how Anita was showing appreciation to our manager group by making the tangible gift of a treat. So sit around and think of the ways of different things that appealed to you as an individual through your appreciation language. Take a pause and let's discuss. All right, guys, welcome back. Hope you have some good ideas. Let's talk now about what are some ways your team could show you appreciation. Now, this might kind of seem like, oh, they should know me. They should know me. They should know how to appreciate me. But my husband always tells me, you need to just say what you want. I'll be happy to do it, but you just need to tell me. Don't make me guess. I don't have time for that. Well, I know we're women and not men, and we're not married, but he makes a good point. Why not just be vocal about what we need and want from each other versus just expecting each other to guess? So take a moment as the team, go around the room. Let's tell everyone one way that you would feel appreciated, and make it a way that they could do. Don't tell them I won $1 million from the lottery. They probably can't do that. All right, take a pause. We'll get back. So I want to leave you with a couple parting thoughts. And this is one that as I was making the PowerPoint, this is something that I've came back to a few times, and I've taken my own medicine and taken a moment to stop and affirm other team members in the district. Many see a job well done, but few will come forward with a word of affirmation or appreciation. So wouldn't it be great if we as a department were the ones who came forward to appreciate others? Now, I know in your mind you're thinking, oh, they don't appreciate me, they don't tell me, they don't do. Why don't we be leaders? Not because we have the title, but because that's who we are. That's who you are. So be the one that comes forward. Remember, everyone makes a difference every day, and you are one of those everyone. Thank you for all you do.